Today, I am going to be showing you guys how to beat double S difficulty of the new RE-DESTRO Climax battle. But before I do that, if you guys are not already subscribed, please go down there and hit that subscribe button for more tips and tricks on My Hero Ultra Impact. With that said, let me show you guys my team. This is the team I am going to be using to take on double S difficulty of the RE-DESTRO Climax battle. Yes, you are seeing that right. I do have two rare characters on my team. I do have an SR memory on Uraraka, and then I have a UR memory on the Deku and the Compress. So the idea behind double S difficulty of this Climax battle is to have more defense than RE-DESTRO has, because if your defense is lower and you hit RE-DESTRO, then he builds up stress, and if he gets too much stress, then you cannot kill him at the end of the game. He has a last stand that lasts infinitely. You need to get him below 10 stress to be able to actually finish him off. So the memories that I have equipped to my characters here are defensive memories, and the reason I'm bringing Deku is because he gives you status element nullification. The reason I'm bringing Uraraka is for crit damage, and the reason I am bringing Compress is because he gives you defense up to all allies, which is really beneficial and really useful. You do need to use his abilities though in a second or later successfully executed skill chain to be able to get the plus ultra gauge up and the defense that he gives your team, and that is all really helpful. An alternative to using this team right here would be to potentially use the Celebration Ochako or Uraraka, because she can remove buffs of the enemy. And so RE-DESTRO, one of the points where he really where you start to build up his stress a lot for him is when he gives himself temporary defense up. He will do that at a couple points throughout the Climax battle, and if you have a character like the new Mind Shigaraki or a character like the Celebration Ochako or Uraraka who can remove buffs, then you don't have to worry about your defense being lower than his. So that's just another idea for you guys, but I'm going to be showing you guys how this team works right here. Now, I would say this is probably one of the most optimal teams you can run right now, and I know a lot of people aren't necessarily going to have these characters, so I probably will try to find another team and put up another video later without using potentially, hopefully, any of these characters. But with all that said, let's get into this. Take my stress beyond limits, see if you can take it all. I finally made it here. It's time to surpass my limits. So RE-DESTRO has 1,196,000 health and 400. And so what you're going to be doing here, there are 3 phases. For the first phase of this battle, you want to target RE-DESTRO, and then for the second phase of the battle, you want to kill off Getten and Curious, and then for the third and fourth phase, you're just going to work on whittling down RE-DESTRO's health. We're going to go ahead and we're going to use Deku at the beginning of our skill chain here. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to use Uraraka. And then lastly, we are going to use Compress. Compress is very, very nice in this Climax battle because he can bind Curious and Getten, which is super, super helpful. And we did bind Getten, we didn't bind Curious, but we're still okay with that. And notice his stress is still at 1. He gets a guaranteed stress up by 1 per turn that you take, but as long as your defense is higher than his, you are not going to be raising his stress quicker. And if we go into the menu here and we look at our characters, you should be able to see down there at the bottom on Deku, defense up for 2 more turns, and that comes from having Compress on the team. And then the memories we have on our characters as well are giving us more defense. So let's go ahead and do our skill chain here, continuing to target RE-DESTRO. Now, the biggest complaint I have about this Climax battle is this is going to be the longest grinding Climax battle you could ever possibly grind in your entire existence of Climax battle in My Hero Ultra Impact so far. Like, it's just going to take a ridiculous amount of turns to eventually get him dead, and I'm going to let you guys know that right now. I would say it's not that hard of a Climax battle once you understand the mechanics, but it just takes forever. It actually just takes forever. So keep that in mind as you guys are going through this. And then another reason I'm going to explain this part as well, that we're running compress along with the Uraraka, is they both have action skill cooldown time. That action skill cooldown time, as you can see, makes it so we don't have any dead turns or turns without action skills, which is very helpful. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do Deku's heal this time, so hopefully we don't get hit with any status ailments. Then we'll do the stun with Uraraka, but it won't stun RE-DESTRO. And then we'll go ahead and do the bind with compress and hope that we bind one of the other two. Alright, we are entering a phase shift right now. We did bind Getsin again, which is good. Alright, even fear gives me more power. Can you take this power? So if you saw right there in this phase shift, RE-DESTRO, we're going to go look at him real quick. He gives himself, I thought I saw him give himself defense up. Maybe I saw that wrong. But there are points where he gives himself temporary defense up, and if you have a character who can remove temporary buffs, you can get rid of that temporary defense up. It looks like it did not happen right there, but I thought I saw it. Alright, let's go ahead and we'll do this. We'll do, oh, whoa. Make sure you switch targets here. I almost messed up. Switch to Getsin or Curious. It doesn't really matter who you target. Curious will draw aggro eventually if you don't target her first. But then Getsin can freeze you. So Curious does stuns. I don't know. Let's go after Curious first. Why not? All right, and as we go through this phase is probably what takes the longest, as you can see, because there's counters, there's just a bunch of annoying stuff, and you can't target RE-DESTRO really until you get Curious dead and Getsin dead. But by the time you get to the next phase, he is going to do a thing where he pushes your characters. I think it's the next phase or the phase after, we'll have to see. I don't remember exactly. He's going to push your characters out, which is why we have the rare characters on the sub slots, because we want them to die immediately to bring these three characters back out. But you'll see when we get there, and I'll re-explain that when we get to that point. But let's continue targeting Curious right now with our plus ultras. And as you can see, pay attention to the stress counter under RE-DESTRO's health bar. It is only at 6, so we're actually doing really well right now. And we missed the bind with compress, unfortunately. A lot of times you hit that bind with compress, and that's actually super helpful as well. Stress counter is up to 7, so it's taken us 7 turns so far just to get to this point. So it's going to take a lot of turns, right? So keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and do these action skills. I think she dies right here. Yep, she's dead right there, and we bound Getsin, so that's even more, that's better. That's a dub. All right, now we continue down the line. We're going to target Getsin. Go ahead and do these. Heal. Raise our plus ultra gauge. Give ourselves extra defense and raise our plus ultra gauge again with compress on that last move. There we go, and now we can do our plus ultras. He is at 13 stress. That's still fine. That's not a big deal. Once again, you do need him below 10 stress at the end of this, so keep that in mind. All right, and Getsin is dead. 65,000 damage on RE-DESTRO, which is good. And now we have all of our action skills back up, as you can see, and we just continue in the way that we've been doing it. At least it's a fairly simple farm, right? And he's at 19 stress. We'll go ahead and heal here and do this. All right, and we use all of our plus ultras here. This should get us pretty close to the end of this phase. Hopefully 644,000 health. He's about halfway dead already. I think we'll get pretty close. It might take one more full rotation of action skills actually to get all the way down there. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. We're pretty close. All right, let's go ahead and do the heal here. We'll do this and then the bind, and this should get us there. All right, good. We're at the next phase shift. So right here, he should blow our characters out or switch them out with the subslots. Release, not restraint. My mission is to embody freedom. Here we go. Our rare characters come out. That's fine. Whatever. Do not care. Go ahead and please kill our rare characters. We're gonna go ahead and this is gonna be a dead turn. Let's just let him do his thing here. All right, he should kill Shinso here. Okay, Shinso's dead. Now we have our main characters back out, and that was kind of the goal there. So now we can just continue down the way we have been doing it, right? So we're going to continue down the line. And hopefully we shouldn't be raising his stress because our defense should still be higher, as you see, and that's going to make this a lot easier for us in the long run. All right, let's go ahead and use our plus ultras. 29,000 damage, 19,000. And notice we are still not raising his stress. So if you guys have been running into the problem of raising his stress, this is how you avoid it, right? And it is kind of annoying that status elements don't work on him, but really it's not a big deal once you start getting the mechanic down. I feel like from here on it's pretty simple and straightforward. Just keep repeating and rinsing until you get to the end. And we should enter the next phase right here. The final phase of the RE-DESTRO CLIMAX battle double S difficulty. Here we go. All should be free to use meta powers. I will completely destroy, or I will complete Destro's legacy. I read that so wrong to start with. All right, and let's go ahead and use all three of our plus ultras. These should do a good amount of damage right here. 26,000, 20,000, 42,000. All right, and one more round and we should be about there. Let's go ahead and do this. He's at 17 stress. His stress is going down for us. That's good, right? All right, and he is on his last stand. Now we just need to let him, he's gonna lose the rest of his stress right here. And boom, dead. Easy as that, guys. Literally as easy as that. It takes understanding the mechanic, right, to get this, and it takes a ridiculous amount of turns. I will be the first to admit, like, that was over 30 something turns to get through this climax battle, which is insane, but it's really not that difficult once you understand the mechanic. And hopefully this will help you guys out. Hopefully you can figure out a team for this. I will try to show you guys a team with characters that aren't this OP necessarily, because having compress on your team is literally like a cheat code. There are ways to do this without compress. I just only have one try left for today to actually do this video because I did my other tries, you know, testing things out beforehand. And so later on, I will probably post another double S difficulty clear of climax battle with a different team, not using these characters. So if you guys would like to see that, please go down there, hit that subscribe button, leave me some comments about what you guys thought about this team and what you think about this climax battle, and please go down there and hit that like button on this video too. It means the world to me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Peace.